Live at Nazareth, where my colleague Dan Moyane is with ANC NEC member Bheki Cele. Dan.
Well, at the moment, good afternoon, Masiko. Welcome back to Nazareth. At the moment, Bheki Cele is not a member of any national executive committee because that one is gone. Now they have to elect a new one. Ndosi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
are you confident you're going to get back to the NEC? What are you feeling at the moment, knowing what you've seen and what you've been going through as the delegate here?
Well, I don't want to break English, but I feel cautious.
So there's a confidence.
I feel good about what has happened. The rest, Braden is still with the delegates. The plight is in the hands of delegates. I'm not going to say what is going to happen. Let's wait for what the delegates are saying to us.
But the voting for the new 80 member NEC is going to happen this afternoon.
Yeah,
we
are going for further nomination now. Okay. 200 has been nominated. Fortunately, one is part of those nominated already. So we'll be increasing that number. After that, as we give reports of the commissions, we'll be going to vote.
Top 7, when you look at it, is it the right top 7 for the ANC where it's at with all these challenges today and ahead of 2024 general elections?
Well, I don't know why I would have voted otherwise for Cyril. Maybe starting from there. Starting with the tradition. All ANC presidents are given 2 terms. So I don't know why people were in a hurry with this.
It's called Pala.
No.
Because of the Pala scandal that came, people thought maybe.
If you can call me to talk about that one, I think one guy, Uzamani Sol, really explained on the thing. Even the thing is just getting loaded. There are processes. Cyril himself has subjected himself to processes. Many of them, the police themselves are working on that. Let's wait for those processes. And the step aside is very clear. You get charged by the court of law, not by the so-called independent, which I think
private prosecution,
which is some jungle kind of prosecution.
But why do you think Jacob Zuma went that route?
Well, he will have to explain himself. He's here, Braden. You can find him.
Is he facing possible disciplinary action by the new NEC, you think?
Well, I'm not a member of the NEC.
Yeah, but I'm asking you,
said so.
In the likelihood...
We have made a call that there are issues that are outstanding that the oncoming NEC will have to deal with. The voting otherwise in Parliament and some misbehavior here, disruption and all those kind of things.
Yeah, which we saw especially on day 1.
Yes, we believe that the incoming NEC will be able to deal with those matters.
Okay, you were talking about the expectation that why should not Ramaphosa have been giving a second term, because historically ANC presidents have tended to get the second term. Post-democracy, it was only Madiba. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela said, no, I'm done one term, let me move out, and voluntarily. But since then, you correctly, it's been second terms, okay?
But besides, Cyril was on a very tough period. This COVID-19, if people were not understanding how difficult to run it, and it did very well. I hear people saying Dr. Mkhize did well, he did well as a part of the team. But the person who kept that ship floating on a very trying waters was President Cyril Ramaphosa.
Okay, the Deputy President has gone to Paul Mashatile. Your view?
Paul Mashatile, I met him when he was in Kosas, Braden. Kosas. So think of Paul Mashatile now and think of Paul Mashatile in Kosas. So personally, I have a long history with him. There is one thing that I would understand with him. He listens. When you pick up and you say, as a premier, as a minister and all that, Paul, that is not it. He will give you an ear. And so I think it's one area that all of us, rather than condemning and all that, will have to come together and say we work together with everybody that has been elected, whatever slate that person was in, or she was in. Let's work together to make sure that this leadership does better than the previous time.
Your Secretary General's office has been under a lot of strain. Since the suspension of Esma Khashulu, you've had no SG as a party, and the late Deputy SG, Jesse Duarte, unfortunately passing away some time back. So you've had an acting SG, and you've had an interim measure, okay? Fikile Mbalula is going to have a lot of work to do. Are you confident that he'll carry that office very well? As a veteran, I'm asking you this as well, as a veteran of the African National Congress.
Again, one good thing Fikile Mbalula will bring is a bridging of the generation. You remember that he was a president of the Youth League. He has crossed the bridge, so he will be able to cross with his peers and those that come after him. So that's the first advantage about him going forward. But I think he has been given enough capacity. He's the first ever secretary to have 2 deputies. One of those deputies is highly energetic. They call her Mama Action.
Nomvula Mokonyane.
Yeah, Nomvula Mokonyane, of whom one we have worked very closely for a very long time. He was an MEC. I was an MEC. I call him Mam Kize from KZN. And all that is a lot of the energy. The other DSJ is somebody that is highly skilled. He has been the presidential advisor. He's got the international understanding. We think
and she was in the Youth League as well. Exactly. At some point, I think Marupini Ramokhupa served with the likes of Ronald Lamula in the NEC of the Youth League.
I want to say he's well capacitated. He will have to focus. But what I want to warn all of us as an ANC, even including the incoming NEC, we don't have 5 years. We have 18 months. We have 18 months, but then the concentration and the intensity must be in 18 months going for 2024.
Don't you think there could be some distractions along the way? Let me speak about Nomvula Mokonyane, for example, with what came out of the state capture report in the Zondo Commission, the whole Busasa saga, and how she was fingered to have benefited in all sorts of ways, free gifts and stuff. Don't you think that could be a little bit of a shadow, cloud over her in your campaigning for 2024?
But then, Cyril came back on, I hear you talking about Pala. I can talk about it on the other day and all that. But he has been very adamant on the renewal. That renewal talks on all of us responding on our sins. By the way, that includes himself. When the time comes, he will have to answer on that one. But for now, we have him here. We are fine. We are following all procedures, all legal.
So are you saying that Nomvula will also have to answer for her sins one day, when it comes to that point?
As I speak to you, police are at work, brother. One thing that they'll have to work hard on is the Zondo Commission and many other things. If one day I can give you the list from especially municipalities of people that have been arrested, and going forward, we'll see that police are done of late. If Comrade Nomvula falls within that, nothing will make her bypass that. All of us, we shall not bypass that process.
Okay, it's the first time in the history of the ANC, from my recollection, you're the veteran of the ANC, that you have elected a female Treasurer General. I mean, historically, just at the dawn of democracy, you had Ubabu Thomas Nkobi, then Mendy Msimanga followed, and then Matthews Posa at some point was also Treasurer General. It's the first time you have a female, Gwen Ramokhupa.
Not just a female, a good human being. A very good human being, a medical doctor by profession, well-skilled, a mayor, a deputy minister in the presidency's office. So it's got all the skills. But as a human being, is a good person to be with. I think South Africans beyond the ANC would be impressed of having a leader called Dr. Gwen Ramokhupa.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of challenge, though. It's going to be challenged in terms of raising funds and funding. I mean, ANC has not been able to pay salaries recently, and then you have to be getting, you said 18 months in terms of campaigning for the elections. The money, she's going to have a hard task in carrying it out. Are you confident in the capability?
That's why she's there. Otherwise, we have known that there are, and herself knows very well. She should have said no if she was scared of it. But support all of us working together with an extra NEC, the top 7 and all that. We believe that things will be done.
Kwede Mantashe, he's a survivor. Why are you laughing, Ndesi?
I think of the group that stood right in front of his face.
Yeah, but I was there. They were calling him load shedding. Hambane load shedding at some point, they were saying. What's your view about his chairmanship? I mean, he's got seniority, and the chairman's role in the ANC has always relied on the wisdom of the leader.
remember, it comes from the other hot pot of being an SG, Secretary General of the ANC, commanding that.
For 10 years?
Yes. So now we'll be doing another 10 years.
As a chairman?
Yes, because it's done 5. I hope it doesn't get tired in the middle of the term and all that. But I think it's doing quite well, supporting him. It's with the history of the ANC. But also remember, he was cooked and comes from the history of the workers.
The trade union movement.
Yes, the trade union movement, which has been always a rough environment.
Yeah. He comes across as a strong ally of your president.
Yes, I think he is. But he's also respectful. But he also demands his respect, as you would hear him.
But I don't know how you can chair a conference this big and this rowdy.
So he also demands the respect.
Now, finally, you've had commissions discussing all kinds of things. You've hardly slept since Friday, the opening of this conference, right up to the early hours of this morning. Other commissions done and dusted now. What should we expect to happen in the afternoon in terms of their reports?
Well, I'm in the commission called Peace and Stability. That is a commission that fits in security, instruct those that are deployed in that environment, what things. There are a few things that we have put in. One thing that has guided us is the results of the panel of experts that was appointed by the President after July 2021. Professor Cindy, that's a lady that we brought together, Etegwini with, came with 3 things, Braden. One of those things is invisibility, unavailability of police. They were not visible. Maybe we have started that last Friday, President and myself, in the heavy rain.
10,000 more officers, yeah?
Yes, that could be.
But that's still not enough.
Not coming close. That's why we have requested another 10, but we couldn't get. We got 5 going forward because there are many other competing things: your health, your DS, your social development, and all. The second thing that she said that we are not anchored in the communities. Let's go and work with the communities as a South African police. We are isolated. So we're working on that. We have a lot of outreach program, talking to men and all those kind of things, especially about rape. And then you go and make sure that you make your response to the public as public protests genuinely so. That is POP, Public Order Policing. 2012, Falam, after Marikana, said we must be 12,000. We are 5,000 as we speak. So we're taking 4,000 there. We won't make the 2012 number, and the intelligence we're sharpening there. We think we will be doing these things going forward.
Now that was part of your discussion in the Peace and Stability Commission, all of these things you were focusing on.
Yes.
And implementation. See, the ANC... Hey, ANC has got an awesome capacity and capability of coming up with policies, diagnosing the problem, no problems, their analysis great, coming up with strategies and tactics. But implementation is very short.
Brother, I don't think that it will be a fair criticism under the 6th administration under Cyril. We did not have the time. There was time where the government was focused on one thing only for 2 years. And I think all the problems, but Cyril really let us well on that one. We hope that doesn't come back. And then it gives the government, the 7th administration, starting with this half now, a proper time of dealing with the things that otherwise are standard and are natural, including fighting crime, fighting poverty, and fighting unemployment.
Because peace and stability is going to be very crucial ahead of 2024. 2024 will mark 30 years of democracy. You're going to have to make sure that things are really smooth and there's no violence. Some analysts are already saying that we should brace ourselves for more violence. You've seen some political killings, for example, in parts of South Africa involving some of your members.
Braden, I hope one day you will invite me to talk about if I'm still there, to talk about the area of my work. I don't know why analysts and yourselves, you will end up there. that KZN and political violence was a hell, Britain, hell. Until the president stood on the dead body of Councillor in 2018, Councillor Mkhun in Maritzburg, and said, not on my name. He said, all those that are in the security cluster, go there. And the interministerial committee chaired by the Minister of Police did that. We created a very special team, Braden, that is dealing with that. 302 people have been arrested in the political violence at KZN. 55 of them are doing life sentence, Braden.
So you are acting. You are acting and taking action.
Exactly, a big one, and it's going down. The thing is spreading, and we are spreading the team to respond on those things. On the question of infrastructure, then we are arresting people. We arrest people that are robbing the pipelines of oil.
Yeah, Transnet issued a report, in fact, recently to say there's been a decline in vandalism and theft of the lines.
3 days ago, police did a wonderful job in Mpumalanga in what is called, I don't know if you knew that there was coal syndicate, people opening farms for coals. Instead of taking the coals to the plant, they take coal to their farms and they fill stones in the truck to
deliver at ESCOM.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to see how your reaction was to the news of the Defence Force getting in the soldiers. I know you don't have the capacity. What's your view? Is it the right thing to do to put soldiers in our power stations?
If it is so, it should be very temporal, because we need to deal with the criminals inside there. As I'm saying to you, 3 days ago, we have arrested 13 of these people and 5 top former police, former farmers who are making their farms, the syndicate farm, and the managers in there. And we're going to go big on that one. Police assured me yesterday, they came to brief me. I'm taking them to go and brief President. They say we're going to stabilize the thing from the side of criminality and safety in these plants. We're going to do it.
Okay, we're going to have to let you go now and to go back to the session. But my final question to you is around the issue of regionalism. Historically, in the ANC, I'm just using that term, I'm not saying it exists, regionalism. You've always had the main national groups represented in the top 6 or top 7. It's only recently where you've had nobody from KZN. You come from KZN. When you look at the top 7 now and you look at the previous top 6, there's nobody from KZN there. How should we interpret that?
It's very good because you're talking to me, Brian. Otherwise, any other person would have been misinterpreted. We're getting fixed well. This will be Lungis. Because we had this lesson last time, we did not go back. We agreed that we made things fussy and wrong for ourselves. We came with four candidates, 2017 here. Well, if you come with, out of 6, you come with, what do you expect other people to do? So we had to go and fix those things and come back. We did meet, we did talk about these things. I think we were on the correct lane until very late. We need the introspection. This is me coming from that province. I'm born and bred. I'm that part of the people. If we don't fix ourselves, the rest of the people have no reason to correct us. We need to correct ourselves. I have already spoken to the provincial leadership, both the chair and the secretary. Actually, I spoke to them on the first time when people, I said to them, whatever the sympathy you had here, what is happening here, you won't see the light of the day. I told them on the first day when I called them to come and fix the behavior of my province.
Did you also tell them to support any leadership that emerges out of Nasrec now, even if there's nobody from KZN?
They're not supposed to be told. They're supposed to follow. That's what the ANC says. When you go there, you discuss and you get fitted. Actually, it's very good in ANC. If I argue with you and you defeat me, it's me who is sent to go and report things that I do not agree with you. But so long the decision is taken, we have leadership now. Conference is going, especially in the top 7, and all of us, we must run. you will be breaking the ANC tradition and the ANC life if you don't do that.
Thank you very much, Ndosi. That's Bheki Cele there. And he's currently a minister in government, but here we are here for the ANC work. He has no seat at the moment in the leadership position of the ANC, and he's hoping to get back to the National Executive Committee. Those nominations and that voting, rather, of those nominations is going to be happening sometime this afternoon.